Hello and welcome back to Retrotainment Recast. I am obviously on hosting duties here, which means last week I was knocked off my big old throne of being the champion by Greg. There was some shady business there, I still think, but I think those brown envelopes passed around there at the back of me, but
I believe I snatched victory from the jaws of a draw.
No, I think there was brown envelopes being passed around.
It's called Revolut. You got to get on it.
Listen, Carl's important stuff. Greg let it through on the cheap, and I paid the price by losing my championship. So I'm here to judge these two boys while they try and do a very difficult film now, I have to say, but very topical considering we've got the new one coming out in Top Gun.
Coming out tonight.
Yeah, releases tonight. So Top Gun, not Maverick. Obviously, the boys, same rules apply. You can't use people from the new film to cast into here. But we'll see how it goes, and get your picks sent in there to make sure neither of you are cheating.
Do you know what? I never even thought to check if these picks were in the new one.
Well,
that could
bode well for Carl here. It could bode well.
That's risky business.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't think so. But this is it. I didn't do my homework this time.
Well, that's a foolish thing to do, but
I'm hoping that bites in the ass.
It most certainly probably won't, because my picks definitely won't. But sure, look.
I would be surprised because the new film actually did go with relatively unknown people as well. Hinges off the back of the brand and the main actors from.
I actually haven't even seen I've only seen one trailer for the new one.
The trailers are unbelievable. I can't wait for it.
I can't wait.
But,
although I will say I had been quite critical of this movie in a while, but I went back and rewatched it. There is it's very good. All right.
So
I think it's because I hadn't watched it since I was younger, and I just thought, man, there's nothing major about it. It's pretty fucking good, lads.
It's a very different action film.
And the soundtrack.
The soundtrack's amazing, but I think people kind of sleep on it a bit as an action film because you're comparing it to the Arnie's and the Stallone action films. It's a very different type of action because it's obviously all dog fighting.
There's not much, but there is.
Yeah, but even before, even with the dogfighting, it's only at the end where it's real dogfighting. Before that, it's all practice.
Yeah.
But the adrenaline of, the way it's shot as if you're inside the plane is just so well done.
Yeah, amazing.
But
Terry Bruckheimer nailed it.
Yeah, we'll get started with this. I suppose we'll start with Jester, who...
Michael Ironside.
Yes, Michael Ironside, who is obviously the pilot that's trying to shoot them down when they're, doing their training as Top Gun. So, Greg.
Right. Michael Ironside. Man plays a stern bastard and everything, doesn't he? He's a good actor. I went something a little different. Obviously, Michael Ironside was a bit older in this. I went for...
I think.
Was that only what? Your man looks about 400 years of age and everything.
I know he does. He's only in his 40s though.
He wasn't even in his 40s.
Not even in his late 30s, 40s, yeah.
36.
I went to Aaron Paul here.
Aaron Paul.
Okay. You like Aaron Paul. You've used him a couple of times now.
I've never got him in yet either.
No, you haven't. But that's a pretty decent shed for this one, I'd say.
I'm hoping you're not going to get him in here because I went with someone I hate using because I hate the actor.
But I know who it is.
I know who it is. I know
Will Ferrell. You're definitely not getting
popular, this. He's a very popular actor, but he can't play a stern bastard. I went with Tom Hardy.
Oh no, don't like that.
No, I have to agree with Greg. I don't like that. I think Tom Hardy is too bulky. The boys in this are all shredded. Don't get me wrong.
Different shredded
is a unit.
He is, but he's also
of all the people that's he's the one that's not shredded kind of thing. He's the he's more of the mass guy.
I don't know. I can't see Tom Hardy doing that.
This might be. I don't know. I think Tom Hardy is a bit too bulky for it, and I still kind of see him as
Bane.
kind of no, not even as Bane, but kind of like as a. He still kind of portrays himself as kind of the young up and comer, which is not the role of Jester
Definitely
here.
not anymore.
I know
he's late 30s, early 40s.
He's mid 40s. I do know that, but he still gets cast as this kind of up and comer.
He gets miscast and everything because he's shite.
Come on, Aaron Paul.
Well, you're really not helping your case here, because Michael Ironside is definitely not shite. So you're really not helping your case.
But that's my opinion. Obviously, casting directors think differently because he gets cast in a lot of movies. I just don't particularly like him.
Yeah, I think
I can understand why. There's certain movies I like him in. I loved him. I thought he was a great character in Lawless. And that's about it. Bane, no, he was all right as Bane.
I think he was. I thought he was all right as Bane.
Warriors is only a good film.
Oh, sorry, Warrior. Yeah, I forgot he was in that. He was brilliant in that too.
He's not bad in Mad Max, to be fair.
Mad Max was not Mad Max.
That's not. Yeah, if it's not Mel Gibson, it's not Mad Max.
No, it just wasn't a Mad Max film. It was.
I know.
A film.
Yeah, but I don't think he was bad in it. Do you know what I mean?
I must actually watch that, lads.
He's not the one writing it.
Missed much.
I went out a bit left field here as well on my choice. Possibly because I felt it tied in elsewhere for me. But I went with Orlando Bloom, who's someone we haven't used before. But he kind of isn't taking those big roles anymore because Jester is kind of a side role in this as well.
To be fair, everybody kind of bar Maverick and Goose are side roles.
Iceman is quite a
Iceman,
and
even then, it's still they're still a lot smaller than the other two. But that's
they are. But Jester is kind of just the pilot that's chasing them down. He is kind of just he's just that's who he is.
That's where I went with Tom Hardy because I wanted an intimidating figure, which he is.
Yeah,
he's definitely more intimidating than Aaron Paul.
Then again, if you're being chased in a plane, it doesn't matter if the guy is 5 foot tall or 7 foot wide.
Aaron Paul is just going to cry at you.
Aaron Paul is definitely not going to cry. Did you see Need for Speed? That man can certainly move.
If you're bringing up Need for Speed, I'm winning this.
Well,
definitely not.
Unfortunately, I don't think you are. I just don't see Tom Hardy in that role. I think Tom Hardy, if he was going into this, would want a more.
He'd want to be. Yeah.
He'd want a more prominent role. I don't think he'd take the role of Jester.
His own ego wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Aaron Paul would be willing to take that role. So 1 to Greg, the champion, off to an early lead here.
I actually had myself down to lose that point in my own head.
We will go with his counterpart, which is probably the most famous actor at the time when this was being shot in Viper.
Tom Skerritt.
Yes.
So I have 2 ways I can go with this. Literally, I have 2 names written down, and I'll tell you what my backup was Jared Butler.
Okay.
We're on the same kind of wavelength.
But who I went with here because I was going for a big name. Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, I can see. I can see Jeremy Renner in there.
I had Jared Butler as a backup as well.
Yeah, I do think that's a good backup.
Purely because I think it's because I was reading that they're making a law-abiding citizen 2. And obviously, he was in the first one. Now, I'm not sure he can't be in the second one.
Can't.
Unless it's a prequel, but he can't be in that either. But I had Bryan Cranston as another one. Obviously, I was going with the Aaron Paul, Bryan Cranston connection, and I decided against that. I went with someone that you've used quite a bit. I went with David Tennant.
Ooh.
I don't think he's right for that.
Yeah.
I love David Tennant.
I love David
Ethan
Tennant.
Hawke.
I went for the look more so. The skinny kind of meh.
Yeah.
Look.
I get what you were going for with David Tennant.
Yeah.
I mean, Viper doesn't look anything like a fucking fighter pilot either, to be fair, when he comes in.
No,
True,
he doesn't. But he's
this veteran kind of thing.
He is meant to be. Yeah, he's meant to be in the very first.
He was Vietnam vet kind of thing. Or
yeah, Vietnam vet, and then he's meant to have been the winner of the very first
Top Gun
trophy. So, and like when he goes up in the air, he's still considered to be one of the best. Do you know what I mean? I was similar to you guys. I had Jared Butler down as a backup myself.
That's strange. All three of us had the same backup.
I did have him there, but the problem with Jared Butler is that although he's in and around the same age that Viper was, that Tom Skerritt was when he played the role, I'd kind of gone a little bit older for some of the other roles, and it probably didn't work well enough.
You had to jump it up a bit.
Yeah, I jumped it up a little bit here and there, but then I stuck to closer to the age on some of the roles as well, so it kind of flip-flops. Who I actually went with here was Sean Bean, the old fighting veteran. And he doesn't die in this film, so he'd be willing.
He can't. No, he can't. You cannot pick him if he does not die. That's just against the rules.
No,
he has said that he will no longer do a film which he'll die in.
He won't take films where he dies anymore. Right? So I specifically had to make sure he didn't die before I.
He must actually be the most killed character in history of film.
He's up there.
He's definitely up there. There's probably a few others that are ahead of him.
Yeah,
but he's definitely up there. I had a couple of others there. I had Ben Affleck there as well as a backup, but
I don't like that.
I think Ben Affleck can come off as the intimidating, but also a mentor when he needs to be. But I had gone with Sean Bean overall. He's intimidating because he's Sean Bean and he's always intimidating. But when he needs to play the mentor role, he is very good at it as well. And then obviously he tied into Orlando Bloom from Lord of the Rings. I'll have to go with Jeremy Renner here. I love David Tennant, but I don't think he fits in. I do get what you're going for with the kind of wiry look to him. Yeah, but I just don't think of David Tennant as being like, yeah, he's this old ace pilot.
I don't do it.
Yeah. I can see Jeremy Renner.
Would Bryan Cranston have got it for me?
No. I can't imagine Bryan Cranston as an old ace pilot either. I can imagine Bryan Cranston as a lot of things, but not an old ace pilot.
I mean, he's done a lot of things.
Now, if you want to see if you're talking an old ace on the old roller skates, you'd have had me with Bryan Cranston.
Or speed walking.
Yeah, he loves the old speed walking as well. So that ties it up. 1-1 apiece with those big names. I suppose we'll continue going along with the one to the other, and we'll go with the backup for Iceman with Slider here. Again, this is a very, very small role.
Rick Rossovich.
Yeah, very small role in this one as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely butcher the fuck out of this name. So I went with Alden
Ehrenreich.
Yeah, that lad. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's who.
Han Solo.
Yeah, that lad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah, good man, Carl. I knew Carl had hooked me up.
There we go.
The young Han Solo. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I went a fair bit different on this one. There's one of the ones that I changed the most. And I think it is a small role because I don't know if Alden would take this, to be honest, because, with the lead of Solo, he hasn't done a whole lot since, but I think he's waiting for his next big role. I went with Michael Jai White.
Michael Jai White?
Jai. Jai.
Do I know Michael Jai White?
He was in Batman, The Dark Knight.
Oh, he was. Yeah, okay.
As in Spawn? Was he not Spawn?
He was Spawn as well, yeah.
Yeah. No. don't see that. No.
Michael J. White, he's a good actor, and
He is a good actor. I like him, but I just don't see him in this. Like, that's a legit fucking kickboxing karate champ right there.
exactly. You want. Yeah, he has the look.
Let's be fair. If you're that
Okay,
badass, you're not going to be a backup to somebody.
I don't know. He's definitely a
big,
backup in Batman.
Yeah, he's not a big actor as well. I mean, like, he's a big actor, but he's not. This is a small role. It's a type of role that he would take. I think Alden Ehrenreich is a bit of a bigger name to take for such a small role.
Yeah, I kind of went similar with kind of a smaller name in someone that Carl has used before, Sam Claffia, I think is how you say his name.
Claffin, is it?
Claffin, sorry, Sam Claffin, sorry, yeah. Who was in the Hunger Games. I don't think he's really done a whole lot since then. He's done a few bits and pieces there, but the Hunger Games.
One scene of Last Night in Soho.
Was he? Jeez, I didn't even catch him.
He was.
He's in Pirates of the Caribbean as well, wasn't he?
Really?
I don't know. I kind of stopped.
In a while.
I think he was in. I think he was in one of those bad ones.
Oh right. I think he was in Snow White and the Huntsman as well. Which is probably that's in between Hunger Games, I would say. But that'd be mainly where he's known from is Hunger Games.
Yes.
Again, like he kind of takes a smaller, not in a really small role in that, but it's definitely a side role in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
He's quite good. Like he's good at filling in that side role. That's kind of like the sidekick to the main characters.
Sam Claflin was actually a pretty good shout.
This is a tough one now because I don't know. Don't know about Alden because I thought he was good as Han Solo, but part of like these characters is they're all fairly jacked as well.
I'll rebuttal that. He was good in the movie. He wasn't good Han Solo.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you're comparing him to fucking Harrison Ford, like.
Yeah, there's only ever going to be one real.
That's like saying someone that comes in and plays fucking Indiana Jones in the next one.
Yeah, like no one's going to match up to what Harrison Ford did for that character. I do think he did well as the role, for filling into it.
Like that's an iconic role.
It is, and I think he did it well.
Maybe it was okay actually.
I quite like the film, to be honest. Yeah. I will go with Michael J. White just because there's not a huge amount to this. Other than
the fact that he's going to be the same age as all the instructors got to play a part in that fact, though. He's 51 years of age.
He doesn't look it, though.
He fucking does look it. He's been around. He played Spawn in 1997.
He might be older, but
there's no chance he's a backup. There's no chance he's a backup to a fighter pilot. No chance.
There is if he's he's stayed at the same level. He just hasn't progressed and gone further. This is what Tom Cruise is in the new one at the start.
I don't know. I haven't seen the new one. I generally
from the trailer he even says I just haven't gone further. It's because he's immature and he hasn't gone. He hasn't wanted to.
It's not like they're a backup. It's just they're not the one that's actually flying the plane. They're the ones making the calls of this is where everything is. They have to be,
I don't think he takes that part, to be honest.
I'm not mad on him either, but I just don't see Alden Ehrenreich as it either. And I just see Michael J. White as closer to that role than Alden Ehrenreich. So Carl goes ahead with 2-1.
2-1.
Match him up.
I'm not holding my breath.
Well, we'll match him up with his counterpart of Iceman, Val Kilmer.
Iceman. Okay. I have two ways to go here. I have the big name, and then I have a smaller name. It's tough. I'm gonna go for the smaller name, which kind of might backfire me.
Wait, are you changing picks here?
No, I have 2 written down.
Oh, okay.
It's I had it written down.
I was like, wait,
No,
what?
No,
I
they're written
am
down.
keeping an eye.
Ted can confirm.
No, I am keeping an eye the entire time.
Yeah. So my big name was my backup, and I didn't think he could do the role well. But one of the big reasons was because it was kind of a Batman homage kind of thing. Because Val Kilmer was Batman, this guy was Batman. I had Robert Pattinson down.
Yeah.
But what really drew me to who I actually picked was the look kind of thing, and I think it went really well. I went with Daddario Montgomery.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not as big as a role, and I think, or sorry, as big a name, I should say. I think he'd do that role very well.
Yeah. Like both good choices. I'm not massively sold on Daddario, so Greg does have a solid chance here to jump in, I think.
I know.
But there is a good chance that Greg maybe used the same person. I haven't checked yet, but
My backup's aren't on mine.
no, well, I don't care. I meant who your main person was. So.
Oh, no, Daddario was one of the backups that I had a look at.
Okay.
I had it there. It was like, no. I think if I was probably going anyone for Daddario Montgomery, it'd probably be Maverick, to be honest. Out of the 2, but I went with a big name. I went with Chris Evans. He's very full of himself. Very full of himself in this movie.
Yeah, I can see Captain America sliding into that role fairly handy. You know, the whole gimmick of Iceman is that he's very by the book, and then he's patient enough to like wait for you to make the mistake. I can see Chris Evans being very by the book. He's
100% full of himself too. In this,
yeah. Well, I mean, why wouldn't you be if you're Captain America? You know what I mean?
No, but even Iceman is very full of himself.
No, I know. Yeah, but what I'm saying is Chris Evans plays that part very well, even in Captain
He's
America.
good. He does it well in most things.
Well, we've seen Daddario do, being very full of himself in Stranger Things, but also very by the book in Power Rangers.
I haven't seen Power Rangers.
Power Rangers was all right, actually.
It was. He was the lead. He was the
Now I will not have to knock it down. No, it took out all the flips, Ted. All the flips.
It's not Power Rangers then. That's the end of that, right? A shit film. It does. Power Rangers not doing 75,000 flips before they punch one guy and knock him flying. I'm not into it. I'm just not into it.
There's a fair amount of flips.
A fair amount doesn't equate to the amount of flips I expect to see in my Power Rangers stuff. Iceman, I thought this was this one was a difficult one for me. I went with Zac Efron in the end for this one. Very full of himself. And he's meant to be seen as the bad guy throughout the majority of the film. He's not exactly a bad guy, but he's he's the antagonist, really. Yeah, like he's your competition throughout the whole film, and you can believe Zac Efron's a bit of a bit like I'm great and I'm going to be the one that comes out number 1 over you and stuff like that.
I do have to ask how old is your Maverick if you're having Chris Evans as Iceman?
You generally can't ask a question as to how old it is if you've cast Michael J. White.
Yeah, like Michael J. White's the backup to this guy, so
yeah. But I mean, if you can do that with side characters. I mean, you're talking. This is your lead antagonist who's meant to be a rival to your main guy, and like the main guy, Tom Cruise was 24, 25.
24, 25, yeah.
So Chris Evans is 40.
Yeah.
That being said, if you saw Chris Evans on the street, would you guess he was 40?
You'd guess he'd be in his mid-30s.
I would say you'd guess he's in his kind of
a 20-year-old.
I would say he's in his
20s.
I would say he's in his early to mid-30s if I saw him on the street, I would say.
He's in his 30s, though. He's not in his 20s.
Yeah, but if you're
there's nothing that defines an age in this.
But if you're talking mid-30s, like, or even early 30s, Val Kilmer was 27 in it, so you know he's not far off. Like he's late 20s as well. Do you know what I mean? I will go with Chris Evans because I just think he fits into that little bit better. I do like Dacre as an actor. I actually think Robert Pattinson could have beaten Chris Evans into that role, if I'm honest.
Aha! Now you know how I feel last week.
I should have gone with my gut instinct.
Yeah, I think I probably would have gone with Pattinson over that.
I'd have probably done the same.
Like Pattinson would be quite
Should
close
have gone
to.
with my gut instinct.
Yeah, Pattinson would be close to the likes of Zac Efron. I will tell you that I had Will Poulter as my backup because I love trying to get Will Poulter into films, but I still think Zac Efron would have been better than him for this role.
Fair. I should have gone with my gut instinct.
Right, so 2-2. We'll go with the one person who, although they do have a link to somebody, their link is not in the fighter jet. We'll go with Charlie Blackwood, the love interest.
Kelly McGillis.
A very strong character in this as well, though she's not just the typical love interest. She's very not full of herself, but confident in her role as well. So, it's you, Greg.
I'm going with Barbie herself, Margot Robbie.
That's more of the Meg Ryan character, I think.
Bullshit. Meg Ryan's in this for about 8 seconds.
I am not surprised now that you've said that. I'm not surprised that Greg went with Margot Robbie at all, if I'm honest.
I went a bit younger because it is the love interest. I went with Alexander Daddario.
Another
one of my favorite choices.
I had a couple of people here. So as one of the backups, I had Anya Taylor-Joy, who I think would do the role quite well.
Yeah.
But one of you is right on the money with who I went with as well here. And it was Greg. The first name that I had down on the list was Margot Robbie. This is just, when you look at that role, I was
she's like, that's amazing.
I was like, that's where she fits in, very confident in herself, but also, you know, you can see her falling in love with the young fighter pilot, and then trying to get him back from the brink when he loses his best friend and stuff. I think she'd just do that role very, very well. And
she is a solid 15 out of 10.
Yes, but we're not judging the characters off that, Greg.
I did not. I'm just saying as well.
Yeah, you know, it's a nice little added.
Alexandra Daddario is there too, but sure, look.
Yeah, no, Margot Robbie was the first name I had down on the list for this when I was doing it. I'm actually surprised you didn't go for her, Carl.
I'm generally surprised. I thought we would have all went.
That was the one I thought that was going to be a dead draw there myself, to be honest.
I try to mix it up a little bit.
See, you say that, but then you use Alexander. You say that, but then you use somebody else that's been used so many times.
By me.
Yeah,
right. Well,
I may have forgotten that you were the judge, Ted.
What's that? 4-3.
I've used Alexander Daddario a couple of times as well. It's not like I've actually used Margot Robbie less than either of you, I would say.
Maybe,
I've argued against her a lot of times in films. So
it's true. It's true.
Down to the final 3-2 here. Down to the final two. Carl, you need to win both points to continue on. Greg, a draw will do you.
Awesome.
Obviously, we'll have to leave Maverick till the end. So it's Goose here, the
best friend,
sidekick, the best friend, the sidekick, the lovable idiot, I suppose, in an extent.
Kind of comic relief.
He's a bit comic relief, but he's like a lovable idiot. But then he's obviously not an idiot either, because he's he's up there flying with the best of the best.
Of anyone in the film, he's the comic relief kind of thing.
Him and Slider are both kind of comic relief, you know.
Yeah. So it was Anthony Edwards originally. I went, and I can just picture him with a mustache, and it makes me laugh. Just
I know who it is already.
I went with Joe Keery.
Joe Keery, yeah, okay, that's a decent one.
You know, he's the best friend. He's funny. I can see him like being a best friend character on it, and going for a big name from a TV actor. which Anthony Edwards was at the time, I've kind of used that same theory in bringing in Joe Keery for it.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Michael Cera.
I know.
That was a guaranteed point.
That would have got you the point as well. Yeah.
As much as I love Michael Cera.
Yeah, I didn't have him down. I didn't have him down for mine, but if someone had put him there, I probably would have given them the point.
I went homegrown this time. I went with Donald Gleason. I could see him sitting into that role.
Yeah. Well, this is a tough one.
I think the Joel Keery worked better with Thackeray being cast.
Maybe I think Donald Gleason. I'm kind of comparing it to the last cast. He's a very big name. Like Donald Gleason is a big name.
He is, but
he's not a huge name.
Yeah, he hasn't. I don't think like Donald Gleason hasn't really starred in a whole lot, like being the main attraction.
He's not the main attraction in this either.
No, I know that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh no, what was that? Shameless? Was it Shameless? Careless, the one that he was like when his ma died and he drowns the cats. I think that's his only real main role.
About Time.
Didn't see that.
I haven't seen it.
It's a soppy rom-com.
Yeah, right. You've already sold me on not watching it.
It's absolutely fantastic. I'll just give a brief description. Basically, he can control time, kind of thing. So if he makes a mistake in the relationship, he can go back and then.
So
the argument's about to happen. So he
could just watch Click.
It's far better than Click.
Or I could just watch Groundhog Day.
Oh yeah.
One of the best. It'll make you cry. The relationship him and his father, it'll make you cry.
I don't know. It sounds like I could just watch Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day is always a good watch.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think as a best friend and as a I could see Joe Keery doing this better than Donald Gleason.
They're both solid choices. I went with Nicholas Holt, who again hasn't.
You do like Nicholas Holt as well.
Me and you have picked Nicholas Holt a few times.
Yeah, he doesn't tend to take very many lead acting roles. Is kind of the thing. He kind of takes these sidekicky sort of roles.
Again, we go back to Mad Max.
We're going to see him blow up. He's just done something recently. I think it's a TV show, and he's going to blow up now.
Well, I mean, like he was the main. He was the main in his own TV show Skins back in the day, but since then, I don't think he's.
Was it the Warm Bodies was the main one that he was in? Was it?
No, it was X-Men.
He was in X-Men.
No, I know, but he wasn't the main character in X-Men.
I suppose he was technically the main character. I think he's probably a main character in Tolkien, was he? I didn't actually end up watching it.
Yeah.
But I didn't end up watching that.
I didn't know he was in that. She wanted to watch it and never got around to it.
Yeah, it's just okay.
Yeah, I thought I was going to really like it. Then I read some synopsises and I was like, actually, that doesn't sound as great as I thought it was going to be.
Just okay.
I think Donald Gleason trying to keep Maverick straight as well probably works a bit better than Joel Keery. I know he brings the comic relief when he's singing and whatnot, but
I think I do see Donald Gleason probably would be funny if you seen him singing along as well.
It's terribly singing.
Yeah,
it is a tough one because although he tries to keep Maverick straight at times, he also doesn't. He also indulges him a massive amount as well.
Which is exactly Joe Keery's character in Stranger Things.
I don't know if it's exactly his character. I don't know that Joe Keery tries to keep anyone on the straight and narrow. I think he
definitely tries.
I don't know that he does. He spends a lot of his time hanging around with a child much younger than him.
It's kind of weird.
No, well, I mean, much younger. It's probably 2 or 3 years younger than him. It seems a lot more in that. I don't know that he does try and keep people on the straight and narrow much in Stranger Things.
He definitely tries to protect them.
Tries to protect them. I don't know that he tries to.
In doing that, he's keeping them. Trying to keep them straight. Fails. It does. And one thing that I will say, and spoilers for a 1986 film for anyone who hasn't watched it. It would be a lot more upset to see Joe Keery die than Donald Gleason.
No, it definitely would not. I mean, I'm waiting for season 4 to see him die.
No, I would be sad to see him die, but I think Donald Gleason is able to garner sympathy for himself. Sounds like you thought that as well in About Time. To be fair,
I mean, just watch his life crumble. I think it's called Shameless, where he ends up setting up a brothel in Bray in the movie. It's an older movie. It's one of his first ones. He drowns a lot of cats in it too.
It is a tough one. Because I think Joe Keery is more of the boyish charm of the character, but I think part of that character is also needs to be the one that keeps Maverick contained and on the straight and narrow. You know, kind of going to him and being like, "Listen, Maverick, I can't afford for you to blow this for me. You know, I got a family. Don't ring the bell, Maverick. Don't ring it. Yeah, don't ring the tower."
Definitely Joe Keery, it definitely is. I mean, that's what he does. Try and sort things out in Stranger Things. Look at the conversation he has with Uma Thurman's daughter in the last series.
Yeah, but he also, infiltrates a massive Russian base with her, and two young children.
He does lose his way, but he tries.
I don't know if he does try.
Bruce doesn't lose his way though.
He does.
Unfortunately.
No, he loses his head.
Loses his life, unfortunately. I do like Joe Keery, but I can't see him being the guy who keeps someone on, tries to keep them on a straight and narrow. He'll try to protect, definitely, but I don't know that he tries to keep people on the straight and narrow. Whereas I do think Donald Gleason is kind of has a older head on his shoulders in that sort of sense.
He's not he's more of a serious actor though, being put in there as a comic relief, which is he's one of the biggest comic relief characters in the film. I can't see that being Donald Gleason.
But the comic relief is, that he starts singing.
That's it. Yeah, he doesn't really make jokes or anything.
That's kind of it. His comic relief is him singing, and I think seeing Donald Gleason do that would be quite comical anyway. So I do think that would still work. So I will go with Donald Gleason, but that one was tough, because they both brought two different things to the role.
Victory is mine.
It does end there that Greg is going to be the winner, but we can't leave the main man uncast. So
we'll just kill the episode now.
It's on to Maverick. Greg, who have you got as your lead man here?
A man who was mentioned earlier on. I went with Zac Efron.
Oh, I don't like that.
No,
I mean, it's his character. As bad as Baywatch is, this is his character. He's self-imploding and then comes back from the brink.
Yeah, he is very self-confident and cocky as well.
It's literally his. It's the character from Baywatch. There's nothing about the movie of Baywatch that was good, really, but it's the exact character he played, and he played it quite well.
I wouldn't even say that.
No, I would. I actually didn't think Baywatch was that bad. A lot of people.
It's kind of it's watchable.
It's what I expected when I heard they were making a Baywatch film. That's
basically with The Rock as the Hoff.
It's basically what I expected the Baywatch film to be. I had no high expectations for it. So yeah, I was happy enough with the Baywatch film, and I can see where Greg's coming from there, and the self-confident, very arrogant in his own ability, refuses to listen to senior management sort of thing. I can see Zac Efron fitting into that as well, to be fair.
And he has the hair.
Well, anyone can have the hair, I think.
I can't.
You could if you were working on $1 million movie set.
It's true.
I had two choices for this one. The first one I had Harry Styles down.
Nope, don't like that. Not enough to command a lead role.
Oh, maybe that's probably one that if we were recasting this in 3 or 4 years time.
Yeah, maybe then
we could try that down. But I threw down Tom Holland for this role though.
Oh, don't like that either.
I definitely like that. I think he suits it out of the ground.
We talking about the same? Are we talking about the same Tom Holland?
Yeah.
Or is there one that I haven't seen in an alternate universe that happens in Doctor Strange or something? Because he was not. That man does not exude self-confidence, nor arrogance.
And Spider-Man doesn't. You've seen Uncharted.
He still doesn't do it in that really either.
He does. He's fairly cocky in that, all right.
Exactly.
I had two people for this. One I felt was probably a little bit old was Chris Pratt, who I think would do the role very well.
Yeah, he's too old.
I think he's probably a little bit too old for it. So I went with someone that we've used quite a few times. And this is what I was saying earlier when I felt some of my cast were maybe too old for their roles, and then some flipped back to being quite young. Tanner Buchanan, who I think would have fit this role very well.
Might be a bit young.
No,
depending on your cast, and obviously.
No, well, that's what I was saying. Even with my own cast, it's probably a little bit. He is young, but he is meant to be a young hotshot as well. So,
you're talking about what though? They're not going to let. He's what, 20?
23. So he's only.
Oh, is he?
He's only a year younger than Cruise was when he shot this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah, I thought he was younger than that, to be honest.
No, so that's who I had for it.
I was going for the young hotshot there as well, and Tom Holland. And of all the big young actors at the moment, he's probably the best of the young actors that's out there.
Let's be fair though. Let's be fair. Tom Cruise wasn't the best of the young actors when this came out.
He was up there, and we were only speaking off screen.
He was starting to become a star, but he wasn't on the same level that.
And we're going with young hotshot as well. But Zac Efron is not a young hotshot anymore.
Yeah, I think we can't really say, well, he's only an upcoming, because a lot of these people weren't, major stars, and we've kind of cast a lot of them as major stars, which is what ends up happening most of the time when we do stuff like this. I think I will go with Tom Holland here. I'm not mad on that, but it's more that I just see Zac Efron in the role that I had him as Iceman than I do as Tom Cruise.
I don't really care. I already won, so
yeah.
I'm not even going to argue anymore. I don't even know why I was arguing it now.
You have to, you have to stay on your toes. You still have to be ready to make those arguments just in case you ever need them. But that does level it up then at 4-3 for Greg, so it's quite a close competition. But
still,
Greg does get to continue on into next week, which means Carl will be our host for the next week's episode, and let us know what we'll be recasting, Carl.
Well, lads, I'm tired of losing, so I'm gonna give you a bit of a challenge, and I'm gonna be mean about it. And I don't care. I just don't care.
Here comes a lot of kids, isn't it?
No. I can't wait. What are we recasting? Power Rangers.
Either recasting. It is another Tom Cruise film. Either redoing Mission Impossible.
Okay, it's been a while since I've watched Mission Impossible, so at least it'll give me a reason to go back and watch it.
There's been 4 names thrown down here as possible Tom Cruise recasting for Maverick. So my caveat is Tom Holland, Harry Styles, Zac Efron, and Tanner Buchanan cannot be used.
That's all right.
As Tom Cruise.
I'm all right with that. I can guarantee you I wasn't going to use Harry Styles.
Yeah, I don't think I'd use any of these as Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. It's a different.
I'm just throwing it out there.
That's all right. That's a good little challenge.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I don't think I would have used any of them anyway for that Tom Cruise role anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't think so myself.
Very, very different to this one. He's obviously way more established by the time Mission Impossible comes around. So
it's just it's nearly another 10 years before from Top Gun to that, isn't it?
It's more, I think, isn't it?
94 wasn't Mission Impossible, was it? 95?
It wasn't 8 years, was it?
96. So I think it is 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, so you would have said probably filmed in 95 or whatever.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, he was becoming a star because he came off the back of A Few Good Men and everything. Then
he was already a major star. He was a major star when Mission Impossible came out already. Yeah. Okay, that'll be an interesting one. Obviously, as the same as every week, like, share, follow, all that good stuff on YouTube, Facebook, Twitters, TikToks, Instagrams, all of that. And don't forget to check out Carl's Instagram to vote on our
When I get to it.
when he gets to it, to vote on.
I'll tell you what, Carl. We'll call it here because there's been so many that's gone by. Obviously, you've had a load on. How about you just start the polls from now?
Yeah, just go from here. Forget about all the older ones and just go from here.
The one with the guests, I'll have to put up the ones with the guests.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
But make sure to vote on those polls and let us know whether you think we cast that I judged correctly, or if you feel that there's somebody else that would have fit into those roles way better. Comment below, and until next week, good luck.